The BJP-led Union Cabinet has officially given the nod to the One Nation, One Election proposal based on the report submitted by former President Ramnath Kovind's committee. The proposal aims to synchronize Lok Sabha and state assembly elections across the country. Welcome to Deep Dive with Outlook. Today we'll be exploring this political reform being discussed in India. Implementation of One Nation, One Election won't be easy. It requires a two-thirds majority in parliament and ratification by at least half the states. Amendments need to be made to key articles of the Constitution, and the Representation of People's Act 1951 must also be altered. Advocates of One Nation, One Election believe it will create economies of scale, cutting administrative costs such as personnel training, transportation of EVMs, and deployment of security forces. In a recent public meeting in Jammu, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh highlighted that the initiative could potentially save the country Rs 3 lakh crore. However, critics like Vikas Kumar, an economics professor at Azim Premji University, have argued that the financial benefits of this initiative may not be as significant as presented. In a 2023 article, Vikas Kumar estimated that merging these elections would not save more than Rs 50 per citizen over a 5-year period. This calculation takes into account costs such as training personnel, transporting EVMs, and deploying security forces. Additionally, the need for extra EVMs and ensuring polling staff availability would further temper these savings. But the discussion around One Nation, One Election goes beyond logistics and costs. A key question is whether this proposal could alter the fabric of Indian federalism. Article 1 of the Indian Constitution that notes India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states, carries the foundational principle of Indian federalism. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chairperson of the Constitution Drafting Committee, though replaced the word federation with union, invoking the unity among differences and diversity. Critics argue that One Nation, One Election could undermine the federal balance, particularly disadvantaging smaller regional parties. A study by CSTS found that in 24 out of 31 assembly elections held alongside the Lok Sabha polls between 1989 and 2014, voters gave a similar proportion of votes to major political parties in both elections. Currently, the Model Code of Conduct comes into force during elections, effectively pausing governance as political leaders are restricted from making policy decisions. For a nation like India, where elections are held frequently, this results in multiple periods of stalled governance. Advocates of One Nation, One Election believe that synchronized elections could ease this administrative strain. However, S.Y. Qureshi, former Chief Election Commissioner of India, points out that frequent elections, while somewhat disruptive, serve a crucial purpose in ensuring accountability. These elections compel politicians to remain visible to the public, preventing them from disappearing from the voters' radar after their campaigns. They also generate job opportunities at the grassroots level and help keep local, regional, and national issues distinct. As discussions on One Nation, One Election progress, critical questions emerge. Will this initiative reshape Indian federalism? Will it enhance the efficiency of our electoral process, or could it disproportionately benefit large national parties? For this and more, you can read Outlook's October 2023 issue, One Nation, One Election, One Nation, Many People, and our February 2022 issue, Altered Federalism.